Hello everybody, I hope you're going well. Today I'm just going to analyze the second round of my chess tournament in France. Today I'm just going to show you the game that I just played with the black pieces, and this is pretty funny because right now in the tournament I played again against someone who is a lot lower rated than me. He's around 1600 again, so it is pretty cool. So the idea right now is that I am playing against someone who's playing probably correctly, but I have the black pieces, so it is pretty complicated to win with the black pieces. So that's actually the reason why we always say, or why all masters always say, that this is pretty cool to win with the white pieces and draw with the black pieces. And you'll see, this is a pretty interesting game. So I play with the black pieces, and I didn't know exactly what to play. Sometimes I'm just playing some random moves with the black pieces. I'm just trying to have some equal positions. I do not like to play the theory with the black pieces. Like, this is useless for me. This is my type of vision. But okay, we played 34 moves and he played e4. So I started to think, and yeah, d5. Now I don't want to play the this what is the name, like this position with the queen and knight e3. I just forgot the names. I don't want to play e6 because I don't like the French defense at all. Knight c6 is just some stupid moves. So I played c6 and not c5 because he's 1600, he's trying to win. I don't want to lose. So I played c6, d4 and d5, and we played the Caro-Kann defense. I was prepared. I was thinking, yeah, he would play e5, and I would just play c5, and okay. But I played d5, and I was like, oh, but he can just take on d5, and after c4 we have the Panov variation, and this is a pretty known position for doing some pretty fast draws. For example, this. Please, internet connection be good enough. And you see, this is a pretty known line, and this is actually already a draw in this position, because after this, yeah, this. Oh, please, internet connection, be a bit faster. And after e6 you have queen takes b7, and this is not a problem. Why? Because I have knight takes d4, and right now the position is pretty equal. If white is playing bishop b5, takes, and now the move that I, no, not taking, bishop b5 and then queen c6. And the idea of queen c6 and not queen b5 is that I don't have queen d7 because I'm losing the rook. So I have to go on e7, and after check, this is just a draw. And if he's taking on b5 or on d5, I would just be a piece up or have much more counterplay. But okay, this is just a draw. Then my opponent played knight c3. So okay, I just took on the e4. He took back. No, he didn't took back actually. He played f3, and he was trying to win, but I was also trying to win. So actually, I accept your offered pawn because I just know the position. I just know this gambit. This is not a pretty. This is not a strong gambit. I would like to say this, that the Smith-Morra gambit is already a good gambit, but this line is just stupid. Like, he took on f3, knight f6, bishop c4, and now the trap is that I don't have bishop g4 because he's just taking on f7. King takes and fork, and I'm just completely losing this. And okay, after f3 we can actually say, yeah, but you can play e5. But now this is also a pretty cool trap. He can just play cd, fe, I mean, and after ed, bishop c4, and I can take on c3. Please, my internet connection, because after taking there the knight, he has bishop takes f7, and if I'm taking the bishop, he would just take the queen, and yeah, please. If I'm taking the bishop, he would just take my queen. If I go there, then just bishop g5 check, and I'm just losing the queen. So okay, I can't. But okay, we do not care. I just took this bishop c4, e6 in order to block the diagonal. Actually, this was also a good move, but both moves are correct. e6, castles, bishop e7, and this. The reason why I play bishop e7, not bishop d6, is actually a question of culture, because in chess, in this kind of position, if you don't know if you want to put the bishop there or there, if your opponent can pin your knight with a queen on f3 or rook on f1 on an open file, then it is better to play bishop e7, because bishop g5 then is not a problem. It's actually the move that he played, but this is not a problem right now, because I'm just ready to take back. Okay, I played knight bd7, queen e2, and here we have a pretty cool position. You know, with the black pieces against d4, I can sometimes play the Slav defense. And I played b5. Why? Because in the Slav defense, when you have the pawn on c6 and the pawn on d5, your bishop is blocked. So you want to play c5 and then playing b5, like b5 and c5. And the reason is that I can actually play b4 right now, then putting the knight back and playing c5, or play a6 like I did in the game, and then playing bishop b7 and c5. This is a pretty known plan in this position. Sorry, I just looked at the another round that is just posting right now, but okay. My opponent played rook a d1. I would like to say this is already a mistake. Actually, he wants me to castle and then trying to attack and so on. But you see, this guy doesn't have anything to lose because I'm higher rated. He's playing with the white pieces, and I'm not afraid of all these types of attack because I just know what is an attack and what is not an attack, and this is not an attack at all. And even though he's playing this is not a problem because I would just defend quite easily with knight on f8 and on f6 and so on. So I'm not afraid, but this is only a question of, do I want to play what he knows, or do I don't want it? And the reason why I play a6 is because I don't want him to attack, because he just know how to attack, so I don't want him to attack. This is the only thing that he can know, that he can do. Rook a d1 is a mistake. Rook a e1 was actually better, but with the idea of putting pressure and trying to play d5. Okay, I played bishop b7, sorry, knight d5 first. He played 94, and this is pretty cool. He's threatening this and winning, and if I take back, this is already a problem for me if I'm taking, because I'm just getting completely crushed, and now this is a problem. So I played the best move, knight d f6, and actually right now I just blundered. No, it's not a blunder, but this is already a mistake. Actually, the best move was going back, and actually taking is even good, but the engine doesn't know how to play chess, you know. Actually, I played a mistake. I played knight df6 and knight e5. And right now, I just understood, oops, the knight is in my camp. So what should I do? I started to think a bit. Okay, bishop b7 is completely playable. Bishop b7, everything is fine. But I want my bishop there in order to control everything, because let's say I go on b7 directly. Sometimes if the rook were on e1, for example, he could already take this, no, take, then after knight takes, for example, knight takes, and rook, and if the rook were on e1, he could already take on e7 and I'd be completely losing, but it's not. So I started to play queen b6 first in order to be very sure and letting him doing the mistake. Knight takes f7 doesn't work, so that's the reason why I'm letting him the opportunity to make this mistake. He used probably 30 minutes. It's not a joke. He used 30 minutes looking at knight takes f7, but he played only at c3, c5, and rook h1. The idea is that I can take on d4 because bishop b5 and losing the queen. So okay, I played bishop b7 in order to complete my development, and then in the further moves, I want to play knight b4 in order to trade everything, because do not forget that I'm a pawn up, and he has an isolated pawn on d4, which is blocked. And this is the problem, because if you have an isolated pawn, you're not losing directly. It's just you have to play d5 at the right moment. But he can't play d5 because of my knight and my bishop who are controlling the d5 square. So he played a3 in order to prevent knight b4, but this is already a mistake. I played h6 in order to letting him taking on f6 and letting him thinking that knight takes is working. But this is not working, because even though there is all this variation right now, I have the time to play g6, and knight d6 is probably losing. I don't know. Probably g6 is not a good move. No, not g6. Just king there. In the game I want to play king f8, but this is losing because knight takes f6. I already saw this. Yeah, this is a move. Oof! I wanted to play king f8 during the game, so I'm happy to see that king f8 is actually the only move. Pretty happy. Okay, but okay, this is a small discretion in every case. My opponent played bishop h4, and here I made a huge mistake. This is already a huge mistake, and my opponent didn't play the best move, so I just could play more further. But I actually made a mistake. I played rook f8. Every rook moves win. Every rook moves is playable, but not rook f8. Why rook f8? If I'm castling, just knight takes, please, bishop takes, bishop takes, and rook takes f6. And after I'm taking there, I am just getting completely crushed. Please, yes, completely crushed, and I can't defend at all. This is completely losing. This is already made in 10 moves. Oops. Oops. Yeah, this is already a problem. So I saw this and I was like, no. But actually he can probably threaten, actually he's threatening knight takes f7. And if I play this moves, for example, he's actually not. And even rook a7 is a move, you see, so, okay. Rook f8 is losing because of the move that I actually analyzed during the game. The move that is just completely winning for white, so not winning, but the position is actually better for white, is knight c5. And the reason why it is better is because he's actually right now threatening to take, and the bishop is going on g6. For example, if I would play this, he will just take, king takes, knight takes e6, and after queen takes, I have bishop g6, takes, and the queen will take my queen. I will just spear queen down, and I can't take on c5 because after all these moves, taking, there's just rook c1, please, rook c1. Sorry, my internet is very too bad today. And rook c1, I'm going back on b6, bishop e3, bishop c5, and I'm just getting completely crushed on the black squares. And the fact that my king can move is already a mistake and a problem. But okay, he didn't play the best move. He started to think, and he looked on knight takes f7 again, and he wanted to afraid me and having his knight over my f7 pawn, but then he put his hand back and he started to think for probably 20 minutes, and he played rook e1. This is actually completely losing directly. Why is this losing? Just because I'm winning a piece. Please try to find a winning move for the black camp. The move that is just winning is knight f4, and the reason why it is winning is because after queen f3 or queen e2 on this, I can just take there. You take with the rook and bishop takes fork. And if you're taking first there with check, I will just take back with the pawn. I'm attacking this, and this is just completely losing. So okay, I just won the piece. He tried to play this position, and I'm not in exchange up. Here there's just one move, but this move is pretty easy to play. This is rook c8 in order to prevent any knight c6 moves. He played h4 in order to create some space because I was also threatening mate. Here I played queen d6, the best move in order to play this, king there, and f6. And he played g3, so pretty easy to play because having the technique of converting winning positions is something that you can actually work on, but I did never work on this. It was actually something pretty natural for me. The only problem that I had, and I still have in chess, is that I have too much feelings. For example, I am just happy of a position that I'm just, yeah, happy, I'm just winning. And this is actually the problem that I have. So I started to breathe pretty slowly and pretty deeply, and I was calculating queen d5. What am I calculating? Actually nothing, because there is no need to calculate anything. Just try to understand that right now we are in the end game, and during the end game you have to put your king in the middle and your rooks on open files. Nothing more. So queen d5. I took this, and I put my king in the middle of the board. Right now I'm actually threatening f6 in order to prevent his knight from being on e5. However, he played knight g3, I played rook e1, putting my rooks in the center of the board on upper files. He played rook f3 in order to attack the pawn, but okay, f6. Right now I'm just controlling everything, and this doesn't help at all because I'm just taking all the pawns and threatening mate. So he played knight c5, and actually you can already find the winning move that I played against my opponent. And the reason why this move is just completely winning is because this is such a natural move that every beginner can play. This is just rook takes, and this is winning because I am 2 pawns up, and this is a pass d pawn. The king is cut off, and he can do anything about this. This was played, and after b3 I played d4, and he resigned. So okay, b3 please, and d4. Okay, so pretty clean game. Even though I make this mistake, rook f8. Rook f8 is this is a kind of enzyme mistake. I was actually only calculating knight c5 during the game, and I was like, yeah, probably I'm not better, but at the same time I wasn't better before the move rook f8, so the position was a bit equal but a bit better for my opponent, like plus 0.8, so nothing special. But it is better not to play mistakes and not to mistake just. And you see, if I was playing rook c8 first before rook f8, I would just prevent knight c5. But it was like I just understood that in this position my opponent was just calculating knight takes f7, so I didn't play the position. I was more playing the human against me because I was knowing that he was just calculating knight takes f7. So okay, pretty clean, pretty cool. This move was actually this is actually my first mistake from the tournament, I would like to say. Probably rook f8 was my first mistake from the tournament. Okay, because I actually saw the best move for my opponent, but I misevaluated this move. For me, the evaluation was around 1.5 or 1.2, something like this, but not 2.8 or 2.5. Yeah, it does happen. It does happen. But in chess, even though the engine is saying that you're losing or not, when you are playing against someone on a real chessboard, it is not a question of evaluation. It's just a question of feelings. Are you afraid of the position? Do you want to play the position? And this is not. This is the only question that everybody is asking himself during the game. So okay, pretty clean, pretty happy with the game. I won with the black pieces, and right now I will just tell you that if you enjoyed this game, you can actually subscribe to the channel. Road to 200 subscribers. Please consider subscribing, sharing the channel, and for example, writing me on lichess GGHGK if you want to have a chess coach. In every case, see you in the future upload. Take care.